So let us continue with the sixth question. The same concepts will be used as we have done on the fifth question. So we will draw basically some rectangle shaped drawings, and we will use this by Python also. The first question, the first part of this question wants us to write a program that takes two integers as a number of rows and columns of a rectangle, then it should print it just like this by using the small O letter. I am writing first of all, we should take the row input, also the column input as integers. Then for I in range row, and then for j in range column, it should print and O, and so I am not putting a space between these two things, and this means that it should be really close to them. I'm not putting a space because of this, and for each row I will write an O for the number as the number of columns, and then I am writing a print function here. So this prints a blank, and then it continues with the second row. We can try this directly, 5 and 3. And as you can see, there are 5 rows and 3 columns as we have given as the input. This was a basic question. I am continuing with the second part. This is a bit more complex, but as if you have understood the logic behind the nested loops on our 5th and 6A questions, then you can understand also the part B. So again, I am taking 2 inputs as row and column. But this question wants me to write a program that takes 2 integers again, but then prints it with the letter O on the borders and a line inside. The inside part of the rectangle should be printed with small lines, and the borders should be printed with small O letters. For this, actually, I will begin with the first line, and then I will print until I reach the last line, the last row, and then I will print the last row's sequence. So I am writing for I in column, in range column, sorry, in range column, and then I will print O and it prints a blank to make sure that we will continue with a new row. So this for loop actually just writes the O letter for the number of columns on a row, on a single row, and this will be my first line actually. Then for it can be J in, but it doesn't matter. As you can see, we have completed the I here, so we can also use I here, but I am just writing J for my interest. Row -2, because I will implement this for row -2 times, because I put a for loop for the first row, and I will write the same operation at the final part of our code. Because of this, I am continuing with the range row -2, and it starts by printing and O as a border. And then it starts to print the inside part as the number of column -2, because I have already started to print the border, the first border, and at last I will print the second border on the right hand side. Because of this, I am continuing with a range function with the parameter of column -2, and then I am printing this line, and finally I will print also this one. This will be sufficient because I will not print another thing here. I'm just copying this. It can be M. I think this is sufficient for our code. Let me just control it. We have started by printing the first row by the range of columns, and columns times O means that we are putting, for example, for this first input and output example, I am printing these three O's as with the number of 3 here, and then I am continuing with this range row -2 to print this part. And first of all, at each row, I am printing an O, and I'm putting an AND operator, and then I am continuing with column -2 times because I will print the last O as I have begin with. And then I am putting these lines between these left and right borders, and then I am completing my code by writing an O here. And at last, I have copied actually the first part. I have done the same operation as I have begin with. So let me try this code. And as you can see, guys, we have collected the desired output here. Do you have any questions about this question? Okay, I can continue with the last question. It is again a question about the for loop concept. So the question wants us to write a program that takes two integers as a base number and the exponent, then prints result as given below. So for example, we have taken the number 4 as the base and the number 3 as the exponent, and we have written 4 to the power of 1, 4 to the power of 1, and 4 to the power of 2, and 4 to the power of 1, 4 to the power of 2, and the 4 to the power of 3 finally. So first of all, I can take my base and the exponent just like this. And as you can see, the number of rows changes with the number of powers. So I will start with, for I in range, we will start from the power 1, the exponent 1, and we will end at exponent +1, which represents that we will end actually at exponent, but if it sees exponent +1, it should stop the range function, and also it should execute the for loop. Then we are writing another for loop for the base part here. Okay, can try this one. I think this should work, but I should also do that. Okay. I think this will work, and so if this works, I will explain the logic behind it finally. Oops, we have forgotten something actually. Sorry. I forgot this. Yes. I, oh, sorry. It should be the power. Okay, we have the desired output finally. Sorry for the delay. So I'm explaining the answer right now. We have taken first of all our base and the exponent. Then we have written a for loop that starts from one because as you can see, the first output has the exponent one, has the power one, and it should go on until we reach the exponent plus one, and it should stop there, and it should include the exponent we have given as an input. On the second for loop, actually we are trying to take the numbers of all powers uh, until the power on that row. For example, if we have taken one here, then our I is equal to one, and then we will continue to we will continue with this for loop, and the j should be first one, and then this part will be two, and this means that it should operate just once. So it should be base, and for this example, base is 4, and the j is just 1 here, and it should print 4. And then it will take 2 here, and then we will operate with the range function 1 to 3. So this means that I'm taking the power of 4 to 1, and then I am printing it, and I am printing the power. I'm taking the second power, the square of 4, because this range function should be just like that on this operation. 1 and 3. So I am taking also 2, and then it goes on like this, and we can have desired output just as you can see. Do you have any questions about this one? Uh, okay, all of our questions are completed right now. If you have any questions about the problem session, please do not hesitate to ask me. If you do not have any questions, I can end the meeting. Okay, then thank you for attending us and have a nice evening, guys. See you next week.